Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Joel.
I'm Matt.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Grandpa.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. Well, now, isn't this exciting? We have got our water wheel transplanter out. Are you excited? It's getting to the point in the year where we really need to start thinking about getting some plants into the ground. You guys saw in our last video, we laid down our biodegradable mulch for our cucurbits. Not only did we lay mulch for our cucurbits, but we also went and laid some more mulch the next day. Now, for those of you that are new, this machine is called a water wheel transplanter. These two tanks are filled with water that feed down through this hose, and as this wheel spins, water is injected into the wheel. And then with each pass of the wheel, it leaves a hole in the biodegradable mulch. And what this does is it opens up a nice space for us to take our tomatoes, peppers, cucurbits, and plant them down into the soil. After we take whatever vegetable we are planting and we push it down into the soil, the water then sucks it fast, giving the roots the best opportunity to grow and giving our plants the best opportunity to thrive.
My water won't shut off. We are going to start with pickles and cucumbers, and then go to zucchini and squash, and maybe some watermelon and cantaloupe. I haven't decided yet. I didn't know if I wanted to feed the crows again this year or not.
Yeah, we don't plant much cantaloupe and watermelon. We have a bad bird problem around here.
Then we're going to go to tomatoes, and then we'll put a double wheel on here and we'll plant double row of peppers. I don't think we'll get there today, but probably tomorrow we'll start with that.
This wheel that we have on right now is a 15-inch spacing wheel, which that means all of our cucurbits, our cantaloupe, our watermelon, and our tomatoes would be planted at 15 inches. Most of the boys are off delivering soybean seed right now, so we might not get to planting this morning. So before we get using the water wheel transplanter, I'm gonna show you what we got going on. To start off with, we got a really nice soaking rain last night, and the cole crops that were planted, our first planting of cole crops, are looking really nice. Now, fortunately enough, I haven't noticed too much animal damage, whether it's deer, rabbits, or anything like that, so that's a good sign. One thing I am noticing though, we're getting a lot of these small weeds popping up. So we are gonna need to get the cultivator out here and get these weeds cleaned up so we don't have to worry about them later. I drove over to our third planting of sweet corn under the mulch. I'm just gonna pull this back and you can see how nice the sweet corn is looking under the mulch. And you can see as we move down through the rows, there is a lot of nice sweet corn that is growing here. Now, we did that planting of sweet corn the same time as we did this planting right here, the conventional method, and you can see how far this stuff is out of the ground. Still looks really, really nice, but you can see the stuff under the mulch grew a lot faster, and that's one of the reasons why we like that planting method. Now, right here is where we laid all of our mulch. This was at once a cover crop covering this field, but we went through and plowed and turned it over, and we got all of our mulch laid here. And here we go. As you look up through the rows, you can see this is our first planting of sweet corn that we did. We actually had to come through and pull the mulch off. We didn't have enough sunny days. This biodegradable mulch really breaks down from the sunshine. So we had to come through and help out the sweet corn. And for it being the first time using that planter, I was really happy to see that the sweet corn came up. I was a little nervous. We're gonna pull off the mulch off our second planting while we're right here to see. Oh, here we go. Look at that. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm excited. This is cool to see, knowing that soon we're gonna be out harvesting veggies again. And then last and definitely least in my eyes, we have our peas that look great. I can't lie, look at them. Look at that. The peas look really good. They've been growing nice. And then over here, our second planting of peas are starting to come up. You can see right here. Look at that stand. Oh my. A lot of people think I hate eating peas. That's not the problem. I just don't like harvesting them. It's not fun. I just got home from looking at the vegetables, and we got one wagon, two wagons, 3 full wagons of vegetable plants in the front yard. These are all peppers right here. And then this wagon all gets planted with the single row planter. That's why it's all together. Everything is all loaded up on the wagons, ready to go. We just got all of our pickling cucumbers and our straight 8 cucumbers moved onto the planter, and Matthew and I are gonna be the first ones to use it this year. That's what's making me excited. Yeah. You can say you did the first planting with the water wheel transplanter of 2022. Woo! I don't think so. They hold it up really well. Yeah, they do. So what you'll notice as we're planting is you can see the hole is completely filled up with water. And that's what we like to see. Fortunately, we've had some rain over the past couple days, so the ground isn't super dry. So this makes it a lot easier and a lot cleaner on us, because normally our hands are covered in mud at this point. But what we're gonna continue doing is going down through the row, and we're gonna try and not miss any of these holes. We're gonna try and make sure that we push our plant deep enough down into the soil so that we get a nice stand. We don't want any of these plants drying out and dying. So right now we are planting our pickling cucumbers. These are a variety called Eureka. They're very popular and we like them a lot. Next we're going to be moving on to cucumbers. Now we've got 2 cucumber varieties we're trying. One is called Dominator, that's a new variety, and the other is Speedway. We've planted Speedway for quite some time, but we wanted to try a new variety just to see how it stacks up. We just got our 3rd row planted and we switched over to straight 8 cucumbers. We're heading back to the farm market because it is now lunchtime, and then we're gonna be back out in the field after we're done eating. Now that we're back at the farm, we're gonna head down and eat because it is lunchtime. But while we're eating, we're having the tanks being filled up with water. And then when we're finished, we're gonna load on the rest of our cucurbits and we're gonna get those planted. We have kielbasa, and I know, kielbasa, and we also have halushki. This looks good. We are all finished with lunch, and now we are on our way back to the fields. We are all filled up and ready to head back down to the field. Joel and Daniel took a truck with some water tanks on it. Dad is getting the other water wheel so that we can put the dual wheels on. And I'm picking up Gavin here so we can head back to the fields. Isn't that a beautiful sight? Matthew is back at the farm helping customers. Daniel and Joel are taking the truck back, and Gavin and I are planting together. We are still planting cucumbers, and then after our cucumbers, we're going to be moving on to zucchini. We each have 1 tray of cucumbers, and then we're on to the zucchini. Okay, this is yellow squash. So we're going to be planting the rest of the cucumbers, which we got 1 tray each of those. Yep. Then we're going to be moving on to green zucchini, yellow squash, and that should finish off our cucurbits. And then once we are done with the cucurbits, we have our tomatoes right here. Then we're going to be moving on to tomatoes. What are we going to do?
We're going to plant all the tomatoes and then we're going to plant the herbs because that's more efficient.
Yes, that's more efficient because we have to put the 2nd wheel on for the herbs. So we want to finish off all of the tomatoes because we're only using the 1 wheel for tomatoes. Normally we don't have someone walking behind because there's so many other jobs to be done. However, we got rain last night, so we can't really be out in the fields doing other things. So we've got Daniel and Gavin on the planter, and then I'm walking behind adjusting trays and making sure that none of the holes are missed. We normally don't miss any, but Dad likes to go a little bit faster when he knows he has a guy walking behind. Daniel is now finishing off the last tray of cucumbers, and then we're gonna be moving on to green zucchini. We have 3 trays of zucchini, so I am just separating one of the trays in half. We just finished off our green zucchini. Now we are moving on to yellow squash and yellow zucchini. And right here is our last yellow squash plant. So this was the last of the cucurbits, and now we're moving on to tomatoes. Now you might be a little confused as to why we went straight from cucurbits to tomatoes, and the biggest reason why is because of the single wheel on the transplanter. Now for peppers and herbs, we're gonna make this a double row, but for now, it's remaining single. And if anybody was curious, the first variety of tomatoes we're starting off with is called Red Snapper. Now the tomatoes that we are loading onto the planter, they are all round slicing tomatoes. We have some Red Snapper, Biltmore, there's Primo Red going on there. Now we won't be able to load up all the tomatoes, but we also have some more round tomatoes and some plum tomatoes here on the wagon.
Oh, now we're on the Primo Red. Okay. We have to plant the herbs in that row because your mother can't crawl over the mulch rows, you know, like this. She's only little, so we have to skip the row and keep it on the edge so she can get to it.
We have moved on to the Primo Red Tomatoes. These are also a red slicing tomato. Oh, Gavin, we gotta be careful. These tomatoes have been one of our favorites. We started planting them about 2 years ago, and ever since then they've gotten really popular, and our customers like to plant them a lot too. They have good disease resistant, and they hold up to our soil and our weather really well. We are loading up with water. Joel just about has it completely full. Now, Dad brought out some heirloom varieties, but he asked us to wait because he's also bringing out some cherry, some grape, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have some yellow grape or orange cherry, but he is back grabbing those.
What are you doing backing up? I need to put...
Getting back on the planter, we just got it filled up with plants again. These are the last of the tomatoes.
I don't know what I'm planting.
Just plant food.
All right.
Your right pant leg and my left pant leg are dirty. We are back at the wagon loading up with some more water. We do have some watermelon plants here. We also have some cantaloupe. We're now on to our herbs. I got basil here. We got basil, parsley, dill. Oh, it's a...
Daniel's got the mozzarella and the tomatoes.
I would love some mozzarella and tomatoes right now. Now all of this mulch over here is completely planted, and we're moving on to peppers.
We're doing jalapeno then?
Hot cherry.
Hot cherry? Did you just grab hot cherry?
Yep.
Cherry.
Ground's pretty rocky here.
You can see we've got the second wheel in here, and that makes planting a little bit more difficult. Usually they can help each other out, but now they've got their own row to worry about. So I'm gonna be helping by pulling trays off and getting other plants out of their way. Things have been going really well. We're finishing up for the day. We're gonna fill up our planter with water, and then once we have that finished, we're gonna be heading home. We've almost got all of the hot peppers planted. We have the jalapenos left, and we have, do we have any poblano?
At home.
At home. Okay, we have some more poblano peppers at home. So we've got to plant the jalapenos, the poblanos, and then we also have some hot cherry we need to finish off. We got home and the farm market was already closed up, so Joel and I are heading up to the house. Joel is eating dinner with us tonight because, well, his wife is with my wife and they're getting their hair done.
Yep. Give me warm time, Andy.
Alrighty, everyone, I just want to show you what we're having for dinner. Mom has got mashed potatoes, halupki, and she's got the sauce. She's gonna dump over the halupki. Let's get this. Oh, let me tell you, that looks good. We are about to sit down and eat our dinner, so that means this is where we're gonna be ending the video. We would like to thank everyone for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.